I was always funny. I was always the funniest kid in the room, the funniest teenager in the class, and the funniest adult. Back then, I didn't even know that this would be my career. It was my protection. Funny is what got me through every trauma in my life. Every person I lost, every fight I lost, every girlfriend I lost. Funny always got me through these things. It was the one relationship that I knew I can't live without this one. I need funny. I gotta make people laugh. I gotta take away their anger so it won't be directed at me. And that relationship was so important that it literally turned into my job. And I thought, this is the end all, be all, be funny. Until I met alcohol. When I met alcohol, that relationship took over. I can only explain my relationship with alcohol like a toxic relationship. And we see it all the time. We see it all the time. There's a person, let's just say it's a woman who has a bright smile that lights up the room, who has all the energy in the world, and everybody loves this woman, but she's in love with this toxic man that brings her nothing but pain, brings her violence, brings her this sadness that she can't compare to anything else in the world. But even though that man brings that to her, she can't find it in her mind. She can't even fathom living without this toxic person. That is my exact relationship with alcohol. Even though everybody can see around me what it does to me, even though I feel the pain it causes in me, I can't see my life without it. I can't see life without alcohol. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how great life is when I'm sober, how amazing it is when I'm sober, all the blessings that come one after another after another. It doesn't matter that my kids look at me with this bright smile and my fiance says to me, this is my Michael. This is my Michael right here. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how happy my mom, my dad is. It doesn't matter how much money I'm making on comedy stages or at the radio station. It doesn't matter how good life gets when I'm sober. Because there's always that voice in my head. It's always lurking right there. The better things get, sometimes the louder the voice gets. What if you just added me? What if you just brought me back, Mike? It's always there, and it's so frustrating because everybody around me is looking at me like he's great. He's fine. And the battle is being waged back and forth and back and forth. What about if we just add alcohol? What about if we just add, we don't need alcohol. What if we just add it and the voice gets louder and louder and louder till you almost feel like you're talking to another person. And just like that toxic relationship, when that man gets kicked away, and he tries to fight his way back to that woman, it's almost like that man and alcohol say the same thing. They say the same exact thing every time. They come back in your life. My. What's going on, Mike? Whoa. What you doing? Why you grabbing your cell phone? Who are you gonna call, Mike? You gonna call your sponsor? You don't need a sponsor. I'm just here to say hi, Mike. I'm not here to start nothing with you. Just here to say what's up. I see you're doing great. 2 years, Mike? Wow, that's amazing. I see the comedy exploding all over the place. I see you. The radio station is amazing. I see the family. Oh my God. The kids are growing up. They respect you. It's an amazing thing what's going on, Mike. But I thought I needed to talk to you because we've been separated for like 2 years, Mike. You don't think that's a bit much? 2 years without me? All these people in your AA meetings and your sponsors and all that good stuff, I've known you way before them. How many things did I get you through, Mike? They weren't there. They weren't there when you needed people. I was there. I know. Don't give me that look. I know what we did. I know where we've been. I know the problems. But Mike, I'm here to tell you, I know what we did wrong. I know what we did wrong. Mike, I've been sitting here watching you be sober for 2 years. And in those 2 years, I have built and I have found a solution to why we did so poorly drinking. We didn't have a plan. Mike, who goes in life without a plan? Bill Gates has a plan. Jay-Z has a plan. We went drinking and we had no plan, Mike. That's what made us fail. That's why there was so much trouble, so much pain. It wasn't me. It wasn't alcohol. It was that we didn't have a plan. So Mike, today, you're gonna listen to me, Mike. Don't you dare call somebody and try and talk it through and try and stop me from talking to you, Mike. You're not. You're going to listen right now because I have a plan. And guess what, Mike? Guess what? You miss me. I know you miss me. I do. But you come with too much. You come with too much baggage. I just got my family back. I just got my kids looking at me like I'm their dad. I just got my fiance back to loving me. I just got things back. I'm at work. Work is fine. You come with too much shit, man. Mike, I know. Yes, I come with a little baggage, but who doesn't come with baggage, Mike? Really? I'm telling you, if you give me a minute of your time, the plan will work. You can have everything: success, family, smiles, love, and me back in your life. It's simple, Mike. We did this all wrong when we would drink. We did it all wrong. The master plan. You ready? We start drinking on Fridays at 5 o'clock, right? 5 o'clock we start drinking on Fridays, and we drink till Sunday at midnight. Boom! And that's it. Everybody's happy. You drink Friday and Saturday till Sunday at midnight. You stop drinking. Boom! Monday you're back to work. Everything is fine. You know what we didn't do, Mike? We didn't use common sense. We didn't pace our drinking. That's another part of the plan I forgot to tell you about. Pacing is very important, Mike. We have to pace. See, normal people pace, Mike. You didn't pace with me. We got to do it. You love the NBA, don't you? You love the Indiana Pacers? That's what we're gonna be. We're gonna be, when it comes to drinking, we're gonna be the Indiana Pacers. We are going to pace when we drink. That's right, no more blacking out. No more waking up in jail once or twice. No more waking up in places where we don't know how or where we're at and how we're gonna get home. No more of that, Mike, no more. We are going to be pacing drinkers. You know what, Mike? I just thought of something. How about we do a test run, right? But we don't tell anybody. Don't tell anybody. Because you know how people judge. You know how people start judging if they know you're drinking. They'll be like, oh, Mike's drinking again. Mike's drinking. We're not really drinking. We're testing. We don't even need their judgment. You keep it between me and you drink from Friday at 5 o'clock till Sunday at midnight. And then on Monday, we will reconvene and decide what we're gonna do. If you don't wanna drink anymore, homie, you just say the word. Just say, you know what? Had a good weekend, no need for you anymore, and guess what? I'll be gone. But why wouldn't you just wanna try it? Why wouldn't you just try it to see? This is what you always wanted, to drink like a normal person. I know this is a lie. I know it in my heart. I'm being lied to. But it's a lie I want to believe, which is the hardest lie to fight off. Is the lie that you want to believe. I know what's about to happen. I know this test run is a lie. I know this nonsense about Friday at 5 o'clock we start drinking and Sunday at midnight we stop. I know that's nonsense. I know once I start, I can't stop. But man, what if this was true? And all the common sense leaves me. All the common sense leaves me. And common sense in my life is so crucial. In recovery, common sense has to be in full strength and full power. Common sense is what keeps us grounded. I always said, a genius is somebody who has mastered common sense. And a great liar is somebody who makes you doubt your common sense. Because once you don't have common sense, all you have is this liar's word. That's all you have. It happens every day in relationships. It happens every day in relationships. You see it all the time. A woman is with a man comes home at 5 o'clock in the morning on Tuesday, 5 o'clock in the morning on Wednesday and Thursday, and he's got the same lie. I fell asleep at my boy's house, boo. We was drinking too much. I didn't want to take a chance to drive home. I didn't want to take a chance. Common sense would alert her right away. You lying. Listen, you either cheating with another woman or you cheating with that dude if you really sitting at his house till 5 o'clock in the morning, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. What grown man does that? But she wants to believe the lie. She wants to believe this lie. The common sense has been knocked right out of her. There are guys in a marriage. His wife goes off on a business trip, and once she hits the plane, she can no longer function with her cell phone. All of a sudden, her cell phone is dead. She can't get to a cell phone. She couldn't charge her cell phone. Common sense would normally kick in and be like, girl, stop playing with me. You're not going to tell me once you get on a plane that all of a sudden your phone don't work. But when you home, that phone is working constantly, perfectly. It's always on 100%. But there's no common sense because he wants to believe the lie. I know what this comes with. I know what this little test run comes with. It's not a test run, it's a relapse. But in my mind, I'm trying to disguise it as something else. It's just a test run. We're just testing. No, I know what's coming. And that's the sick part of this. I know once I start what it comes with. I know the anxiety, the pain, the sorrow, the misery, the depression, the weeks without sleeping. I know how much pain I'm about to put my family in. It's happened too many times. I've got piles of information, mental information stacked to the ceiling. Drinking and driving, arrested, leaving, getting kicked out your house, kids crying because of your activity, your mom crying because she thinks you're going to kill yourself one day in the car. It's all right there. It's a disease that is so baffling because right now I'm still going back and forth thinking to myself, well, maybe, but boy, a relapse is a hard thing to do. Well, let me correct that. A relapse is an easy thing to do. The hard thing is dealing with everybody's opinion about you after you relapse. Because America's done great. Hey, I like to applaud America. I would like to applaud America finally coming to terms that any addiction, alcoholism, or any drug addiction is a disease. Yes, it is. And everybody will tell you that. Everybody's informed now. They tell me all the time when I'm drinking, you got a disease. You need help. You got a disease. You need help, Mike. You need help. I'm like, you're right. You're absolutely right. I do need help. This is a disease, and everybody treats it as such until you relapse. Then they forget about the disease part. They forget all about the disease part. When a cancer patient goes through chemo and then becomes cancer-free for 2 years, if the cancer comes back, that's exactly what they say. The cancer came back. Oh God, I can't believe this is so sad. The cancer came back. They don't call it a relapse. But when an addict, when he or she's disease comes back, that's the first thing they say. It's a relapse, a lapse of judgment, a lapse of self-esteem, a lapse of priorities. They don't attack a cancer patient when the cancer comes back. You've never heard a person ever go at a cancer patient the way they do when a drug addict relapses. You never heard anybody go to a cancer patient angry and upset and outraged and said, I can't believe you're doing cancer again. You really gonna do cancer again? This is unbelievable. Do you know you almost died the last time you had cancer? Do you know you almost lost it all? We almost lost you the last time. You're gonna have to go through chemo. I can't believe you are doing cancer again. Of course they don't say that. That would be insane. That would be crazy to say something like that. But when an addict relapses, oh, y'all don't even have to say a word. It's all in your face. Look at him. She should have left his ass. I knew he was gonna go back to drinking. Oh, they're talking all around you. Everybody, the whispers, you can hear the whispers at your job. You can hear the whispers between friends. You can hear people, they just getting a kick. Oh, look at him, he's never gonna be sober forever. Why do people actually believe him? Like, he is such a liar. What happened to the disease? It just came back. Just like the cancer patients. Truth be told, it never left. It was just dormant for a while. And yes, I take responsibility for not doing everything I should have done. Not going to the meetings I should have went to. But the voice came back. It came back. The crazy thing is that I know exactly what's about to happen. I know exactly what I'm about to cause. I know exactly what I'm about to lose. And with that being said, so you're saying we're gonna meet on Monday? Drink from Friday to 5 o'clock till Sunday midnight? And then we'll figure it out. And if I want to stop, I can just say no and you'll go. And there begins the relapse. That it's possible. It's possible to live without usage of whatever substance that you're using, that it's possible to, you know what? I really want people to take away that I don't want to make this like a glamorous like victory over alcohol, because I just want people to see that I'm in the struggle right now so they can know. Because sometimes when you see somebody who's all good and you see somebody who's been sober for 15 years, you almost feel like it's impossible. Like this, there's no way I can do that. And that's why I emphasize at the end, I'm sober. That's why when you see this, I emphasize I'm sober today. That's why I don't even put the amount of days that I've been sober. Because I don't want anybody to go, let's say it was 85 days, like 85 days. Like, I can't be sober for 85 days, just today. And so I wanted to make it as possible and as attainable, and it is. It's just that with this disease, it makes you believe you can. It's baffling. It just really will get in your brain that you can't stop doing this. So, long story longer, that's what I hope people take from this. Where I go from here is, first of all, making sure everything is about my sobriety first, because I can't do anything Nothing's gonna work unless I'm sober. My relationship with God won't even work. Of course, this is not your fault, God. This is my side. It won't work because I won't be able to focus on that spiritual side of me. That's number one. Getting on stage is something that it allows me. It's almost like another version of therapy because I talk about this when I'm on stage. So it's another version of therapy. Also, there's stuff that I'm working on with Fred Hammond, the great Fred Hammond. I'm working on things with him that he has a venture show called Surviving Williams. So I'm working on that with them. I think that's an amazing venture. I've also part of an app that we've created. It's called Free Agent Radio. And we do the morning show on there Monday through Friday every morning. I want to continue to talk about this. I want to continue to talk to people. I want to continue, whether it be on a stage in front of cameras, whether it be in front of high school students, college students, whether it's in front of corporations, just people, and just talking and just sharing my story and just trying to inspire people to get them to realize they can beat this, especially when we live in a culture and in a country where everything is included. Alcohol is included in everything in this society. Every single thing, birthday parties, any celebration, any morning, any sports activity. And then, they spend $1 billion trying to promote to you to drink. And then at the end of the commercial, they say, drink responsibly. If everybody drank responsibly in this country, literally these companies would go out of business. So the fight is, how are you able to stay sober when everything is promoting you, is in your face all the time? I'm not comparing this to heroin or crack or anything like that, but when you're a heroin addict, you gotta go someplace to find it. Like, you gotta go somewhere shady to go get your heroin. Alcohol is literally, it's everywhere you turn. You go buy a Red Bull at the store and you look to the right and there's wine and there's beer and it's everywhere. So my thing is like, we have to have more people speaking to people, getting them to understand you can win this fight. You can win this fight. I just want to share this story over and over. And I don't care whoever gets tired of me talking about it. I don't care if people are like, oh, he's on that no drinking thing. He's on that promoted sobriety. I don't care anymore. I don't care anymore. I'm going to keep talking this. I'm going to keep talking this no matter what. I don't want to ever relapse. Ever. But if I do, it's not going to stop me from talking about this. I was born by a river. Psych. No, I'm not singing. Of course I'm not singing. But I was born by a river, though. The Hudson River. That's right. I was born in New York City. The Bronx, to be exact. March 2nd, 1971. My parents, Miguel Adorno and Christina Adorno. My sister, Vanessa Adorno. My younger sister, who is now my older sister. And I know you guys are probably like, how the hell did she become your older sister? Well, later on in life, she'd be the person to drive me to my first detox. So once your younger sister drives you to a detox, she's now your older sister. But I digress. In the Bronx, I had a big family. I am Puerto Rican and I do fit the stereotype. Huge family, too many for me to actually mention right now. So I'm not. But every Saturday, my huge family will go to my grandmother's house, my abuela, my father's mother. She lived on an avenue called College Avenue. I forget what actual floor she lived on, but I know every Saturday, like clockwork, the entire family will go to my grandmother's house. Now, black people, y'all got Sunday dinner at Big Mama's house. We had Saturday night gambling at my grandmother's house. I said it, Saturday night gambling at my grandmother's house. We'd all get together, the adults would sit at a table, and the kids would run the streets. We'd run up and down the streets, running up and down, just having a good time, coming sweaty. And by the time we came in, the festivities had begun. The card game, it was blackjack, but it wasn't 21. For some reason, my family played 31, and I think it was because I have no idea why. I have no idea why I was 31, 31. Instead of passing out 2 cards to each player, we passed out 3 cards. I don't know. No explanation. I have no idea why we passed out 3 cards instead of 2. My dad was the house. My dad had a drinking problem. Yeah, he did. But when he played cards, he was absolutely amazing. He was a game show host. He would play cards and he'd be surrounded by all of us. Now, mind you, kids would play outside, but what you really wanted to do was get on that gambling table. The beers were popping, liquor was all over the place. It was like a rite of passage to get to the gambling table. And it really didn't have to do about your age. It had to do, did you comprehend the game? Because even though my grandmothers loved me, they wasn't going to help me. They was going to play. We were playing for money. My grandmothers didn't play. They taught me a lesson. Even if I lost $2, they never came up to me and said, "Pobrecito, you lost your $2? Here's your," hell no. You lost your $2, you lost your $2. But my dad was a master at this. He was the house. So everybody would place their bets. Everybody would place their bets. And of course, my dad knew everybody. He had a fifth of Bacardi right here. He had his little shot glass. He'd pour his shot. And once he took that shot, it was game time. He knew everybody's business. So when my dad would talk trash to you, it was personal trash. He knew how to get under your skin. He would just start, once he started dealing the cards, oh boy, yeah, I heard you lost your job. Yep. Oh, I forgot. I heard you got kicked out your apartment. Unbelievable. Y'all people come here to lose your money. Oh man, okay. All right, you're up first. All right. Heard you owe your mom $50. You owe your mom $50, you got the nerve to bet $5 right now? How is that possible? Does that make any sense? He would mess with everybody. No matter what happened, he knew a story about you, and it was hilarious, because as he took another shot, it got funnier. He controlled the whole game so great that we couldn't wait to get the card game started. It was so much fun, but I knew my dad had a drinking problem, but man, he's amazing right now. He was so good. He was so good that when I get on stage to this day and I handle a crowd, it's almost like I got cards in my hand and I start going at people. I got it from my dad. I really did. The card game was amazing. It's just that there was so much liquor going on. In hindsight, when I look back on it, it was a mess. It was a fun mess, but it was a mess. But you got to realize, we were in the Bronx, in New York City, in the late 70s, early 80s. Alcohol was the safe drug. Alcohol wasn't even considered a drug. Everybody drank, because outside in the streets, it was the real drugs. There was heroin, there was cocaine, and that other version of cocaine was coming, crack. Then the icing on the cake was going to be when they dropped AIDS on the city. So this was the safety net. So every Saturday, like clockwork, we gambled, we laughed, and they drank. My dad got a job, and he moved us out the Bronx to a house. We moved 2 hours away from New York City. We might as well have moved to Canada. We got to the house, and people, let me tell you, when me and my sister got out the car and we saw the house, we said, oh, we done did it. The house had pillars. At that age, I didn't even know what a pillar was. I just know it was some wood that was going up, and there was a bunch of them, and there was a lawn that went high. The lawn went up, and we had a backyard with swings. With swings. Yeah, my dad had a drinking problem, but look what he done did. Yeah, he was struggling with demons from his past. And yeah, this was affecting our family, but look at what he made happen. The crazy part of this whole situation is that we moved out the hood, went to the suburbs. But every Friday, we would pack our stuff in a car to drive 2 hours back to the Bronx, simply because Saturday night, we had a card game. I don't think Fresh Prince ever jumped back on a plane and went back to West Philadelphia, born and raised, but we did. Every weekend, there was not a weekend we did not drive 2 hours to New York. Friday night, my dad would go out. My mom would go play bingo with her mom. And Saturday night, it was game time. After the game, we'd go home to my grandmother's house because that's where we stayed. And to me, that might have been the funnest part because I got to sleep in my uncle's room. My uncle Domingo. I called him Mingo. He hated me for that. He always told me, I'm your uncle. But he was like a friend to me. He was like a best friend. He was Mingo. My other uncle loved me, Frankie. But they were different because Frankie was stern, hard-working, and gay. Mingo was a womanizer who always had a pretty girl on his arm. He always dressed impeccably. He was great at basketball, but he had a little heroin problem. That heroin problem got him locked up. He was selling drugs to an undercover. And the judge said, Domingo Garcia, you will either go to rehab or Rikers Island. And obviously he said, I'm gonna take rehab for 50, Your Honor, and went to rehab. We went to go visit him in rehab. After he left rehab, his counselors told him, do not move back in with your mother. He did. His relapse was coming. And it would come with huge consequences. You gotta understand, when I talked to Mingo, he never talked to me like a kid. He always talked to me like an adult. Now that might not be something you should do, but I appreciated it at the time. Like Mingo talked to me like I was 20 when I was 10. And I love that. Every weekend I got to talk to him, but then some weekends he wasn't there. He was in the streets, chasing that high. I didn't care. That's Mingo. I could care less what he's doing. I would hear people talk about it. I didn't care. Mingo would come in and he would talk to me for a few hours. Sometimes he would come in and he'd be spiraling out of control from whatever drug, whatever heroin, whatever liquor, whatever he was doing, whatever was going on. I'd see him come in. I didn't care. It was Mingo. But watching my dad going through his addiction and watching Mingo go through his addiction, it sparked like this fascination in the back of my head. Like, what is it about this that gets people to take things so far? Like, my dad did everything. He made everything happen. But I knew the situation between him and my mom was getting super tense and was because of alcohol. And I knew Mingo was going downhill because he couldn't keep a job. And that fascination with this addiction just got in my head, like, what is this? How does this happen? How do you get caught up in control like that? Little did I know, I would find out. So one Saturday night, after we played cards and everybody had a great time, I came back to the room. Mingo wasn't there. Like weeks before that, Mingo had come down with the flu. And then that flu turned into a pneumonia, and then pneumonia turned into, it turned into that Saturday night when he walked into the room, stunned. I was just sitting on the bed. I had my headphones on, I had them on, I was listening to my music. Mingo walked in, I said, yo, Ming, what's up? No answer. He went to his desk. I said, okay. What's wrong? Just like Mingo, no filter. He's not talking to a teenager. I think I was 13 at the time. He sat at his desk And he just went straight to it. He said, they diagnosed me with this mystery disease. And they said I'm gonna die in 30 days. I don't know if you're really supposed to tell a 13 or 14-year-old that one of the most important people in his life is gonna die in 30 days. They can't give you pills or something? Like anything? Yeah, they said they can give me something, it's some experimental drug called AZT, and but they don't have much hope for it. The odd thing about that night, I swear on everything I love, it was the first night I realized how much weight my uncle had lost. And it was the first time I noticed all the tracks on his legs and on his feet. I was stunned. So I went back to sleep, woke up the next morning, and we went back to New Jersey that Sunday. It still was in my brain, but I had no idea at that age that I would take part in this journey with him. I had no idea me and Mingo were gonna walk through this thing called AIDS together. Mingo started getting so sick that he wouldn't even stay in New York. He would come with us back to our house in Willingboro, New Jersey, and he would stay there. Now he would sleep with me in my room. This was great, because where I lived, Mingo would sleep in my room. My next door neighbor was my best friend, Al. One day, we met up with these girls, and we got into a conversation with them. Her name was Melissa O'Farrell. Al said something funny about her. She didn't like it. I instigated. They ran off, and they were like, cursing at us or whatever. We laughed, and we went home. Well, Melissa O'Farrell then went to a gentleman named Keith Lee, who was a mystical figure, a myth. He was something in our town that the story was that his freshman year in high school, he was already benching 250 pounds. That was the story. Well, she ran to him and said, Al said he gonna kick your ass. Who was gonna believe that? Me and Al weren't 250 pounds combined. And we heard about it and we laughed it off. It was no big deal. Nobody's gonna believe that. One day we went to a party and we acted up again. It was a house party. We disrespected the house. We ran out, me, Al, and a friend of mine named Blaine. And we were walking, it was like 9, 10 o'clock at night. And we were doing some of the most untough, unthug, unhip-hop things you could ever do, walking down the street with 3 guys. We were singing the Bard songs. We were literally singing the Bard songs as we walked. I had some problems, dun, dun, and no one could seem to solve it. Then somebody would change it. Ooh, and I like it. And we sang and laughed and giggled, and tears were coming down our eyes. And no matter how corny we were being, we were having the best night of our lives. And we walked and walked till we got to the shopping center called Shopping Bag, which had a pharmacy, a pizza shop, and we were just a giggling and a laughing and standing there and doing nothing except singing and laughing. And from a distance, we saw a few guys walking. No big deal. So they got closer and realized it was the myth himself, Keith Lee. Fuck. I was nervous, but at the same time I was good. I said, Al, we've been in worse situations. I mean, you almost drowned in ice. I got you. You're gonna figure something out, homie. He'll figure something out. Keith Lee came to him, and they faced each other. I was here, Al was here, Blaine was there. And the last words I heard from Keith was, if you ever say something about me again, and bam. And everything went into slow motion. I was frozen and shocked that he had actually punched Al. And Al faded back slowly until he hit the ground and his head busted open. They ran off. I ran for help. The ambulance came, and by the time the ambulance got there, Al had already gotten up, thinking everything was all right, trying to put his baseball cap on. Only problem was there was blood pouring out the back of his head, and he's like, yo, let's go. And the paramedics put him back down, put him in the ambulance, and took him off. I got home, I told my mom, and my mom went to the hospital. Now remember, his room, I can see it from my room. And I told myself, once that light comes on, that means he's okay, he's back, that light will come on. Mingo was in the room, asleep. My mom got back from the hospital and we found out that he had trauma to his head and had fallen into a coma. Mingo then asked me, what happened? And I explained to him what happened, just like I just explained to you. And just like Mingo, he talked to me like an adult. He said, so the guy punched him and he fell and you were standing right next to him. Yep. Why didn't you catch him? I've never really been able to answer that question. The irony is that if I would have caught him, he would have been fine. I told Mingo what the doctor had said about the head trauma and how he was in a coma and he came out of coma and he was complaining about a headache. Everybody else told me Al was gonna be fine. Everybody told me Al was gonna be fine. The doctors, the nurses, Al's mom, my dad, everybody who came to visit Al, they said he's gonna be fine, not my uncle. Not my uncle. He said, that don't sound good at all. And he was right. Al died. And I remember my dad walking into my room with a cigarette in an ashtray. And if you know my dad, when he walks into the room with a cigarette in an ashtray, nothing good happened. I'm sorry to tell you this, Mike. Al died. You okay? I'm all right. If you need to talk, I'm here. Your mom's here. Are you okay? I'm fine. Okay. Dad walked out. I turned to the wall, went to sleep. And at that moment, you know that bright light that shines over a kid when he's innocent and he feels so good and he doesn't think anything in the world is bad and he hasn't really experienced much? The light just took, it's like the dial just went halfway down. But I still had my Uncle Mingo. A few weeks later, we had to go back to New York to see my Uncle Mingo. To see the family and the card game. And he was getting worse. At that point, I remember my Uncle Mingo getting high in his room. I didn't witness it, but it's the first time that I'd ever seen nodding and that heroin nod in person. Who could blame him? We knew he didn't have much time left. Who could blame him? It was all coming to an end. But that little voice in the back of my head, how does addiction get you here? How does it get so many of my family members here? What is it about this that gets people to give their life for it? In a sick way, my curiosity was so crazy. I knew I wasn't going to do heroin. Maybe alcohol. He went to the hospital. I was at my cousin's house. We were playing at my cousin's house, having a good time. And my mom and dad said, Michael, come on, get in the car. We're going to see Mingo. And they were stern about it, which meant this wasn't a good visit. Mingo had been in and out the hospital. He always made it out the hospital. But the way my parents were looking in that car, I had a funny feeling this was going to be the time that he's not going to make it out. Went into that trash-ass hospital where they herded all those AIDS patients into the AIDS wards like they were animals. They packed them all over, all around each other. Sometimes they wouldn't feed them. They just wanted to make sure that they were protected from them. There were AIDS patients there getting their food stolen, get their money stolen. They didn't give a damn about them. The only reason Mingo was protected is because he had family to come visit him. And we were there, and we came, and we walked in. And I could tell my uncle was fighting to breathe. And we all said, hey, Mingo, we're here. And he took one breath and said, it's about time y'all motherfuckers got here. He was still funny, and he couldn't breathe. Every breath was torture to watch it. But we all still tried to have hope, and we all were like, when you get out of here, but I could tell in Mingo's face. We said bye. And I said bye. I said bye to him. I let everybody say bye, and they walked out. And I went to him and I said, Mingo, bye. We'll be back and we'll see you tomorrow. Get some sleep. And he said, cool. And then I walked out the door, and those hospital doors that have the glass that you could peek back in. And I peeked back in and I waved, and he waved. But his wave was different. Nobody had to tell me it was about to happen. He just did. My uncle said bye. He meant bye this time. I went to my grandmother's house, and I didn't sleep in his room. I slept on the couch. I was just wondering when that phone call was coming. And sure enough, I don't know, 3 o'clock in the morning, the phone call came. And my grandmother answered the phone, and she gave that scream, that yell that everybody has talked about, and you've seen it and you've heard it, and you don't know how much of it is pain, how much of it is anger, how much of it is sadness, but it's piercing. Nobody came to tell me. I was laying on the couch facing the table, and I turned over. And I went back to sleep. That light, that dial of that brightness that represents the innocence of a kid, switched all the way off. Everybody was gone now. Everybody. But I'm more than just like my dad. I'm like my dad's sequel. I'm like the the 2.0 to my dad. Like me and my dad will literally compare notes on where he was at a certain age and where I went through at a certain age. And it's scary. Like we almost go through these things in the same situations at the same age, which is nuts. The only thing that's a big difference is that I didn't go to war and he went to Vietnam. And then he came from Vietnam, you know. Sidebar, it's just amazing that this country would send somebody to Vietnam and send them in the jungle to watch their friends die and tell them to kill somebody, and then they send them back to our country and say, oh yeah, go raise a family, be normal. So that I think that was the biggest difference, and that's a huge difference. Every trait I've gotten is from my dad. Like it's spooky. All the traumas that happened in my life I really didn't deal with. I only brought up a few that I went through. I didn't know how much certain things affected me. I didn't know, even verbal abuse, I didn't know affected me the way it did. It affected my personality. I didn't know how totally insecure, how totally scared I am. And yeah, I mean, I found out a lot of stuff that everybody's talking about now. Everybody's talking about mental health. I didn't know how, I hate to say screwed up. Let me say it the way you're supposed to say it. I didn't know how mentally unhealthy I was until now. This is what I call mentally and physically addicted. In other words, shit about to get real. My dad tried to warn me, my mom tried to warn me, my sister tried to warn me, everybody tried to warn me. This is where it goes, Mike. Let me explain. When you are mentally addicted to alcohol or any substance, your brain now has been brainwashed. Your brain has now been brainwashed to believe that you cannot function without this drug in your system. Nothing. There's nothing you can do. You can't watch sports without alcohol. You can't go to work without alcohol. You can't have sex without alcohol. You can't go to your daughter's recitals without alcohol. You can't go to a wedding without alcohol. You can't go to court without alcohol. You can't meet with your lawyer without alcohol. Your brain is now trained. You have to have liquor in your system. But technically at that point, it's a lie. You've just been tricked that you can't function until you become physically addicted to alcohol. That's when it's showtime. See, because mental is just a belief. When you become physically addicted to alcohol, now this is a fact. Your ass better have a certain amount of liquor in your system at all times. Your body don't play no games. Your body's like, I wish you would try and go more than 3.5 hours without some liquor in your system. Mike, go ahead, Mike, try me. Go ahead, let's see what happens. You know what's gonna happen, Mike. You think the last shakes were bad? Or we gonna make them shakes turn into convulsions? We might break you down and your legs will be too weak for you to walk up a flight of steps. That's shaking and shivering. Oh, we got the good one for you too, Mike. You know when you get to the liquor store and your hand is shaking so bad you can't put that debit card in the machine? And you don't even know how embarrassing this is until the clerk puts your hand and steadies it and puts it in there. Oh, Mike, don't play with me. Don't you dare try and go cold turkey by yourself. You know we could kill you, right? Oh, it can kill you. Them nice convulsions that you're going through and them shakes, that can turn into a heart attack. Yes, it can, Mike. What you're not going to do is try and go cold turkey on us. Now you have no choice but to make sure that there's a certain amount of liquor in your body at all times. You are mentally and physically addicted. It's crazy now. When you wake up, the first thought on your mind is, do I have alcohol in this apartment? Your first thought ain't about your kids. It ain't about God. It ain't about family members. Do I have alcohol in this apartment? Do I have alcohol in this apartment? And if you do, bam, we are good. And if you don't, let the panic begin. I got to get some liquor in my system, man. The funny thing is my job at the radio station was a 4-hour job. And I had timed it out that at 3.5 hours, it was trouble. The irony in that is crazy. God has a sense of humor. 4-hour job, 3.5 hour limit on having alcohol or no alcohol in my system. At 10 o'clock, I'd run out that radio station, get in my car, and I'd drive around the corner, and boom, I get to the liquor store. I was like a bad drunken movie. I'd get my shots and do the, I'm good. I'm good. Oh, ooh, that was a close one. Oh, I could have sworn that must have been like 4 hours and 10 minutes. Oh, man, never gonna do that again. All right, the bar should be open about now. Let's get to the bar. It is a full-time job to stay semi-drunk every hour of the day. It is a semi-job. It is impossible. And the worst part of it is when your whole family knows you're an alcoholic. Because now you got to hide it. Now you have to have a master plan. How can I stay semi-drunk 24 hours a day and hide it? Got to have stashes. You got to have stashes everywhere. Stashes of alcohol all over the house, in your closet, in your boots. Yeah, I said it. In my boots, in your toiletry bag, all over your car, your glove compartment, your trunk. You know that little spare tire compartment? Oh, that's a beautiful thing. I hated any car that had a full-size spare tire because it took too much room. Them little fake tires, the little ones, now I get to maneuver and I can stack my open bar right in there. This is perfect. I need stashes. I can't go without alcohol. I am mentally and physically addicted, and I don't care what you think. I don't care how pathetic I look. I don't care how bad I might smell. I don't care. I think about how crazy I must have looked. I would drive to this liquor store, and for some reason, I had the bad habit. I was so anxious to get there. I would get there at 9:55. It opened at 10 o'clock. And the lady who worked there knew me. And every day that I showed up 5 minutes ahead of time, I'd be in my car. Come on, man. And this woman would be outside the store and had the audacity to smoke a cigarette before she actually opened the damn store. Do you believe this chick? It's 9:57. You want to tell me you just can't open the damn door at 9:57? You know me. I'm here every day. Never once did it settle in my brain how crazy she must have thought I looked. This drunk ass is here every day at 9:55. What type of person comes to a liquor store 5 minutes early every damn day? Never thought that. But I needed that liquor. I needed my stash. I needed my liquor. And I needed to hide this, man. You can't hide this. Everybody knows. But you got stashes and you think you being so slick. You got stashes everywhere in these little bottles. All these little bottles of the devil. You can put these little bottles anywhere, people. You can have these little bottles. You can go visit somebody at the hospital, have a little bottle and pop that bad boy open. Oh my God. Stashes, 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 stashes until your daughter finds a stash. The twins had Autumn and Kayla, my twins, had a dance. Their first dance in middle school, and I was drinking all day. I got them there. I mean, I didn't even drive. My fiance, Stacy, drove, and I made it. And I even videotaped them. I got out the car, and I was good. I videotaped them walking in. I said, I'm being a good dad. I got in the car. We drove home, and I kept drinking. Passed out. I couldn't make it back for the pickup. But hell, I got him there. Well, at least I rode there with him. I took pictures. My oldest daughter found the stash. And my oldest daughter came into the bedroom as I was passed out and groggy, and I was trying to figure out what was going on. What the hell's going on? What is she talking about? What is she talking about? Is this what you do, Dad? Is this what you want? Is this why you couldn't take the twins or pick them up from their first dance? You had to drink these? You had to get these, Dad? Is that what you needed? And I'm like, how did she find the stash? I had the audacity to yell back at my daughter. Girl, who you talking to like that? I don't know who you talking to in this house like that. The audacity to get mad because she found the stash. Everything she said was the truth. But me, I wanted to argue. I don't know who you're talking to. I'm still your father. You don't talk to me like that. And in the back of my mind, my sick alcoholic ass, I was sitting there looking at my stash saying, girl, if you don't want this to become a real problem, you better not throw out what's ever in that stash. If you don't want this to really get turned up, you better not throw out what's in that stash. God, how sick you are, Mike. How sick you are. But now the embarrassment kills you. But you still got to drink. Everybody in the house despises you at this point. You have disappointed everybody in your life, and I do mean everybody. But I kept drinking. I kept going to work because in the back of my mind, I was like, I still pay all these bills. I still take care of everybody. Nobody misses a Christmas. Nobody misses a birthday. Okay, you found a stash. Okay, I do have a drinking problem. It is a disease. Yeah, I should get help. But right now, I can't get help. I have to go to work. And there's no way on God's green earth that I can stop drinking by myself. I've tried it. It's torturous. When you go through withdrawal by yourself, when I tell you you're laying in the bed and you're sweating and you're shaking, and you're trying to fight through it, you fight through it and you're like, I can't do this no more. And then things start getting real serious. You get locked up again. Now everybody in your job is talking about you. But I told you, I'm physically addicted. I don't care. The whispers are behind you and people are talking about you again and you're going bananas, but you just know if I can just get a few shots, a few of my little shots, I'll be just fine. And then it all falls apart. People are having interventions with you everywhere you go. Your job sits you down and says, listen, if you want to keep this job, you're going to have to go to rehab. You got to go now. What do you mean now? No, you got to go now. Like, you have to go now. Well, I can't go right now. Well, we mean now. The latest can be tomorrow. And tomorrow, I had to meet the human resource lady at the rehab at 12 o'clock. This just happened overnight. I'm going to rehab the next day. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. My family doesn't even know. The next day, I agree to meet my human resource lady at noon at the rehab. She wanted me to meet her at the radio station at 10 o'clock in the morning. Nah, that's not gonna work because the liquor store opens at 10 o'clock in the morning. And if you think I'm going to a rehab sober, you're crazy. I went to the liquor store, got my shots. I went to the bar, got my shots. I went to rehab, drunk. Which to me is the one thing that made sense. I mean, listen, if you think that's your last drink, you might as well have your last drinks. So I went in there drunk and I sat in there for 60 days and got broken down by therapists who broke everything in my life down, who broke the loss of my uncle down, the loss of my best friend down, the struggles that my dad went through. And all of a sudden I started realizing these traumas that I had never dealt with. And they were like, these is what's coming out of you, Mike. This is what's coming out. And this was making sense. And all of a sudden that light was coming back. And I'm like, so this is the whole thing. And I sat down and said, my whole life I've had a fascination with addiction. And now I'm smack in the middle of this. I had to talk about every painful thing. Go to class all day, call your family, 60 days. Working on yourself every single day, working on yourself every single day. And I got out of rehab and they gave me a graduation and I got this diploma and I felt amazing. I was back out of rehab, felt incredible, went to work. I was amazing. I went home to my family. I was an amazing dad. We were playing games. We were going to movies, everything. I had it right back. God had given me another chance. And I was smiling. I was going to AA meetings Monday through Friday, baby. Monday through Friday, there was a meeting. I couldn't wait to get to a meeting. Just to raise my hand. Hey, I'm Mike. I'm an alcoholic. I wanted to share. I was open to everything. Everything was coming back together again. Smiles in my house, smiles in my heart. Everything was back. I was at the radio station and I started getting cocky. Because in my mind, ain't no way I'm going to relapse again. I slayed the dragon. I slayed him. You ain't never getting me back. You and your little game plans telling me I could drink from Friday to 5 p.m. till midnight. No. Get down. You out of here. I'm going to go to AA meeting. I was cocky. I knew I had this beat. And every OG in my Alcoholics Anonymous meetings would tell me, Mike, be careful. That disease just sits there and waits. The longer you're sober, the stronger that addiction gets. It's just doing push-ups, just waiting for you to give them that 1 weak moment. You gotta be careful. I know, you're right, OG. You are totally right. I get it. You are totally right. No. I know what you're talking about. That's why I'm still going to the meetings, but I wasn't. Now, instead of going to 5 meetings a week, I was going to 2. I wasn't calling sponsors back, but I felt great. I was going to the gym. Oh, I was at the gym, killing the gym. I had a trainer. I was doing all types of stuff that I'd never done before. Man, my spirits were lifted. I didn't even think about drinking. I got you, alcohol. There's no coming back. There's no way for you to win. What I didn't know at the time was how baffling and how cunning alcohol was. People say like, Mike, what's your triggers? Back then I would have told you, well, triggers are like if I'm staying at the club too much, I go to the bar too much. Now I realize a trigger for me is waking up. But back then, I had it all together, and then the culmination of all this good fortune, I had media credentials to the biggest fight in Dallas history. I had media credentials to go to AT&T Stadium, Jerry World, to go watch one of my favorite fighters, Errol Spence Jr. Now, if you know like I know, or you know like people who know me know, there is no bigger boxing fan on this planet than me. And I had media credentials. What? I was like, you got to be kidding me. I'm going to get me an outfit. This is going to be great. And I'm looking at alcohol. You can't get me, homie. You can't get me. Look what's happening. I don't even know why I ever listened to your ass. Look what's happening now. I got credentials to do something that I love to do. Don't even look at me. Huh? Would you say you want to talk? No, there's no talking. What you going to try and tell me? You can make this perfect day even better? You can't. Oh, the cockiness in my voice, man, was amazing. I got an outfit, and that morning I woke up and the sun was out and it was fight time. Everything. I washed my car. Alcohol is not going to get me. This is too perfect. This is amazing. God, thank you so much. I probably at that moment hadn't been to a meeting in like 2 weeks, but I was ready for the fight. I got in my car and I only live about 15 minutes away from AT&T Stadium, Jerry World. But there was traffic, obviously. It's the biggest fight. There's traffic, and traffic is just buzzing, and everybody is horns and beeping. I got the music on. I got my smell good on. And I'm like, you know what? I got a shortcut. I'm going to take this shortcut. I break off. I make a left turn, and I go down. And on my right, at the corner of my eye, I see my old liquor store. It's not a big deal. I'm driving. This is going to be great. And I swear alcohol jumped in my ear and said, just make a right turn, get 4 little bottles and you'll be fine. Bam. And I turned the steering wheel, went into that parking lot, walked into that liquor store. I grabbed those 4 bottles. I sat in my car and I drank 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I said, what did I just do? How did you get me again? Calm down, Mike. It's just 4 little bottles. It's just 4 little bottles. It's not a relapse. It's not a relapse. It's like you can stop this right now. 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 Just go to the fight. Don't drink again. Just enjoy the fight. Just enjoy the fight. Come on, Mike. Take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. It's not that big a deal. It's not that big a deal. And I drove to the fight. I didn't drink again. I didn't drink that night. I enjoyed the night. It was a great fight. Everything was fine. I tried to play this so off. I tried to get myself to believe I hadn't relapsed, that I actually brought other people drinks. People were like, you drinking again, Mike? Nah, ain't nobody drinking. You tripping. Go ahead, I got you. Go ahead. $25 for a shot. You have that. I was trying my best. I was trying my best to make myself believe I had not relapsed. I was doing all I could. I didn't touch a drink. I went directly home. I didn't go to the bar. I went directly home. I took my clothes off and I went to sleep. When I woke up, I jumped right back into my positive pattern. The positive pattern was I'm going to the gym. I went to the gym. I worked out. I came back to my apartment. I cleaned it up. I was vacuum cleaning. I was mopping. There's no relapse. There's no relapse. There's no relapse. But I didn't go to an AA meeting. Sure didn't. I'm just going to mop this floor. I'm telling you, this floor is going to keep me sober. Mopping this floor is going to keep me sober. Yes, it is. Let me clean some stuff. Let me dust. Dusting's going to keep me sober. You know what should keep you sober. You're going to keep dusting. You're going to keep dusting till you walk right back out that apartment, get right back in that car, go right back to that liquor store, and now you get 4 more of them damn shots. But you know what? Of course you're not going to get 4 more. Let's double it up. Let's get 8. 8 will be fine. We ain't got to work till Monday. We'll be fine. And I'm right back in the cycle. I'm right back in the cycle. How did this happen that fast? I went to work that Monday, got off of work, went to the liquor store again, went back to the bar by 11 o'clock, came home and passed out as if I had never gone to rehab again. Like I never went, like it never happened. In a matter of days, my fiance was on the phone with me asking me, are you okay? I just hear you don't sound right. I'm fine. Everything's fine. The questions were starting. This relapse was going to be costly. This relapse, I was going to have to really lose something. Family was a mess. Once I got home, I was a mess. I was causing problems with everybody. Everything pissed me off. I was mad at the world. No, you were mad at you. I was mad at me for what I had failed to do, but I was letting everybody have it. You're not good enough. You're not good enough. The reason why this happens is because you guys don't appreciate what dad does. And when the drinking gets bad and the spiral starts happening and you can't see it, but the rest of the world can, and you don't know how this is going to end, of course, I'm back in jail. But this time the radio station don't want to hear about that rehab nonsense. When I got fired, I realized I put my whole family now in jeopardy. I don't think losing a job means you lose everything, so I don't ever want to say I lost everything. But financially, I lost everything. To tell your fiance, who you have 3 kids with, that they're not going to renew your contract because you can't stop drinking. We had just moved into a new townhouse. It was that fast. It was that fast. That guy in AA told me, Mike, be careful. Mike, be careful. Everyone told me, be careful, but they can't hear this voice in my head. They just can't hear it. They just don't understand. I don't know why. Back to rehab. But this time you ain't getting no phone calls. You getting hellos and goodbyes. Remember I told you earlier, people don't like relapse. Back in rehab. Looking at people who remember me. Looking at counselors who go, Mike, you're back? Let me tell you the one thing you don't want to hear in a rehab. Mike, you're back? Let me tell you another thing you don't want to rehab. People knowing a nickname they had for you when you were there the first time. Broken. Sick and tired of being sick and tired. The oldest cliche, and it's not a cliche, it's such the truth. So sick and tired of being sick and tired. A lot of people think that I would do this because it would be like, at the end, it'd be like I won. It was triumphant, and it was victory. It's not. It's not. I'm sober today. I'm fighting this voice today. I can't worry about what I did yesterday. I can't even worry about that I've put my family in such a bad situation, because I know if I worry about it, that little voice will use that against me. And then it'll tell me, yeah, you can go drink because you have messed everything up so bad. We can't dig out this hole. I can't listen to this voice. So I'm sober today. So if you want to know why I actually did this, to show a little bit of my story, is because I know there's somebody watching this who's probably drinking right now or is going through the same situation that I've been through. I know what addiction feels like. I know what it feels like to be there doing what you're doing by yourself watching. But I'm telling you now, I'm sober today. I'm no superhero. I'm no athlete. I'm just a regular person who managed to be sober today, and you can be sober today too. But are you sick and tired of being sick and tired? I can't get you to stop drinking. You can't get me to stop drinking. It's got to be an actual feeling where you go, I can't do this anymore. Reach out. Get help. AA, NA, talk to somebody, talk to a therapist. Whatever it is, you can be sober. Today. God bless everybody who's watched this. Thank you. I hate saying I'm sorry, because I've said I'm sorry so many damn times. I would just tell them I love them. I love them, I love them, I love them. But when you get to this point, like, words don't really mean anything. You know, you have to, they gotta see it. And my oldest is 17, my twins are 15. You can't con a 17-year-old and 15-year-old anymore. They know too much, and they've seen too much, and they know every signal that you could be drinking. They know every single that temper might flare up. And now it's like, sometimes you feel like you're walking on eggshells in your own house sometimes. And that's something that you created, that I created myself. So it's almost like the first thought that I have, like when my kids do something in school, let's say there's a grade that isn't what I want. My first reaction on how to handle it, I can't listen to their first reaction. I have to actually stop myself. I had to stop myself and think. Because my first reaction, my first thought in life has always led me the wrong way. Like, I literally have to focus and sit there and go, God, what do I do with this? Like, how do I approach this? Like, if you approach your oldest daughter because she has poor grades, and then she shows you the timeline of when you started messing up again. This is when you went to rehab, and this is when her grades dropped. What do you do? I've been cruel to a lot of people. I wish I could go back and apologize. I wish I could do. There's some people that truly have every reason to hate. Like, and that's just the, you know, you can't ask somebody, you know, just forgive me. Like, just forgive me for everything I did. And I wish I could go back in time, and I wish I could stop me from saying things to destroy people and stop me from doing things. Because in my alcoholic binges, I am lethal with trying to hurt you, destroy you, break you down, and make you feel as the smallest person ever, because that's how I felt inside, but that's no excuse. So that would probably be my regret. I've been cruel to people. I've been a liar, a pathetic liar. I've been the highest level of selfish. And I didn't care. I didn't care. Now, have people been cruel to me? Yeah, they were cruel to me too, but there were some people that just didn't deserve the stuff I said and the way I treated them, you know, in relationships. I mean, my fiance doesn't deserve the way I opened my big mouth and said no questions were off limits. So that would be it. My regret on being, I'm not a mean person, but I've been super cool. So that would be my regret. Yo, this is Michael Shawn, and this has been Relapse again. And I've always wanted to say this. It's a wrap.
Good job. It's a wrap.
It's a wrap.